Hello, hello. Thanks everyone for joining us today. I'm Katie Wakish, the Sales and Marketing Coordinator at KRI Systems, and with me today is Suman Prasad, our Chief Technology Officer, and Doug Pulaski, our Director of Sales and Marketing. And today we're going to be talking about EASYCommerce and smartphone mobility, both from a browser perspective and as a native app. And just so you all know, on the right hand of your screen there is a questions box. So if at any point you have some questions, just shoot them on over and we'll either answer them right then or we'll make some time at the end to get them answered. So with that, I'll let Doug kick it off.
All right, and everyone, thank you very much for taking your valuable time and attending this webinar. We hope to make it worthwhile, and my perspective is focusing more on the demonstration, showing you our software application from a functionality, from the integration with JD Edwards. We're working against JD Edwards 9.2, Enterprise 1 9.2 today with the integration. We'll show any level of technical questions that you might have that you query Katie about. It is important, though, to lay the foundation of who KRI Systems is and what we do in the marketplace, especially focused on the webinar topic today, which is smartphone e-commerce, which is now a necessity. It's not just e-commerce, but it used to be an option. We don't even consider it an option anymore. The mobility, especially for the younger buyers out there, it makes it a necessity. So with that, it's Katie, myself, and we do have Suman Prasad here. He's our Chief Technology Officer. Later in the presentation, Suman is going to go through a little bit high level, the technical, specifically the REST APIs that allow us to integrate with JD Edwards. And he'll show how that works. We are going to send the slide deck. I'm going to go through the slides relatively quickly so I can get to the demo portion, showing I happen to have an iPhone, so that's going to be the demonstration. It works equally well with any Android device too. So with that, we're calling the presentation Tap Order, but it could very well be slide click order. It's basically extending, it's called omni-channel. It's extending the functionality of your company's storefront for ordering, for portal inquiry, to a mobile device. And we're going to be discussing it from two perspectives. We're going to be discussing it from, like I said, my smartphone is an iPhone, so Safari is the browser, and that's one way of utilizing smartphone functionality from a browser. And then there's what's called the native app, and that's a fat client. It's not a thin client like a Safari browser. You download it from the Google Play or the Apple App Store, and that's what you're seeing on the screen right there. A little bit about KRI. We've been around for 13 years. We're a pure software company. We're located in Aurora, Illinois, just west of downtown Chicago. We tout ourselves as a platform company, and that's especially pertinent with today's presentation, because if we weren't a platform, if we didn't have a platform that our solutions are based on, not only with the cloud, but the mobility that you're seeing, it really wouldn't be possible. You have to have that technical foundation, all good software applications. Think about Enterprise One. Enterprise One has the tools, versions integrated against the application version, but Cafe One and the enhancements that JD Edwards, very similar concept. WebSphere Commerce Server. WebSphere is the base foundation. SAP Hybris has a foundation, Oracle Commerce. So you need that platform, and we'll go into the details. Our number one practice area in the JD Edwards space is, in fact, e-commerce and payments. But because of the platform, we do custom application development, or customers directly do it. So our customer base, let me describe it as this. 50% of our customers, they have no interest. They have lean IT, staffs. They have no interest in a development platform, and they simply want us to deliver the solutions turnkey, high assist, and we do that. But the other half of our customers, they in fact want to have code ownership. We have on one end of the spectrum many companies that simply buy our platform and create applications, or maybe use it to an extent to manage their custom extensions, their personalization. And that platform is called EASYCommerce. And the solutions we're going to be going through, the applications EASYCommerce and EasyPay, which are written on top of EasyProcess. We have procurement solutions, we have HR solutions, we have many JD Edwards. These are all JD Edwards companies. They're mostly Enterprise One. There is some world customers in there, I'd say about 7. And this isn't a representation, by the way, of every one of our customers, just some of the more well-known brands out there. They're all referenceable, key point. And once again, this is our platform. Notice the grid on top of the rectangular platform that we're depicting our applications being based on. The grid is actually a canvas, a drag and drop. It's like Visio. That's how we do the modeling. This platform is a no-code. So we're not a .NET or a Java company. We're a company with this visual no-code modeling platform. It allows us to do quick customizations. We don't, in fact, let me go to the next slide here. The main components of this platform, it's service-oriented architecture. So we have 400 plus services. You need to get to outside database for, say, bill of lading information, do a join with JDE information. All of that is possible. Salesforce.com, other Siebel, other CRM integrations, and the REST APIs, those components. This is, it's hard to see that, but that's how we create the process logic. Once again, depicted in a drag and drop widget type manner. Here's workflow. Here's what we call the web part. And here's showing that web part on a laptop. And our platform, I'm not going to go into the details, but if you get into the, actually it's 400 plus services and the enterprise level, JDE, World, E1, SAP, Microsoft Exappa, EBS, the EasyProcess layer. Let's talk about the user layer. I'm going to be focused on originally showing you, to put things in perspective, our browser. Then I'm going to switch from our laptop and desktop browser to show you how it looks like from there to the browser on an iPhone. Then from there, I'm going to go into native app, our iOS, Java, Android app, and show you that. And also keep in mind that Gartner talks about strong APIs as the foundation of any e-commerce system today. You have to have the integration. In fact, to make the app work, we're going to show you REST APIs using a Google extension and work against our 9.2 environment. Suman's going to do that. And here's an example. Christie's uses Enterprise One, and they're a customer of ours. And Christie's wanted storefront functionality and payment functionality, but they said they wanted it from their application, their auction and bidding, worldwide auction and bidding application called My Christie's. So this project that we did with Christie's and other companies, that's based on APIs. We could have done it through SOAP web services, REST APIs, a combination, but that's an example. And there's an analogy here with the mobile apps. It's based on REST APIs. So to a large extent, it's a tool set approach, but we deliver it out of the box. So let's take what I'm talking about a step further and put it in perspective with the marketplace. This is a Gartner quote from last year. 50% of commerce sites will integrate technologies from more than 15 vendors. As a matter of fact, Gartner created this graph, and they talk about the state of the art, the current e-commerce solutions have to be API-based. And if you look at the EASYCommerce application that we're going to be showing you today, we use a faceted search engine, open source, called Solar for translation, localization. We use Google Translate APIs for reporting. We use Google Analytics for tax. We use beyond Vertex and JDE tax tables. There's cloud applications out there. That's all standard. Even the smartphone app through REST API, logistics, live chat. We don't have a live chat. We just do a simple plugin. There's 100 live chats. So that's what Gartner is talking about, the payment gateways. We take an agnostic perspective for credit card and ACH. We'll integrate with PayPal, CyberSource, Authorize.net. We have over a dozen APIs to the payment gateways.
Do you think you could maybe explain APIs a little bit more? Because someone is asking how we integrate with Avalara. Maybe just how APIs connect with.
Well, actually, that's a good question. That's going to be what Suman is showing in his section. We're actually going to go into a Google extension called Advanced REST APIs. If you were to go into your Google browser and do a search on extensions, we're going to show you our REST APIs. So it makes sense to first cover the functionality and then show you, we'll go under the hood and show you that technology layer. But a great question. And once again, a little bit, our modeling concept with our platform. Here's a sales order approval. Our platform, state-of-the-art, cloud, SaaS, on-prem, cloud hosted. You can see here, it's like JD Edwards. With production environment, with development environment, with QA test environment, like OMW. And so we pair up extremely well, but not only that, once again, if you need to look under the hood like the person asking that last question, because the technology platform is so important to make it bug-free and work great. And once again, here's another picture showing the dev, test, production environment, working against JD Edwards, full change management, on-prem. We work close with Amazon AWS, Rackspace, Microsoft Azure, actually mostly with AWS. We consider a data center from a cloud hosting. We're talking to Oracle currently. It does require, and down here it's hard to see, it's a VPN connection. So from the cloud environment where the various environments and the various web app and a database server and database for Amazon is what is called, Suman, RDS? RDS, yes. RDS, right. So that needs that VPN connection, very easy for us to do to your back end. Let's talk about integration. There's a lot more to integration than just creating the order in JD Edwards and working against advanced pricing and working against availability logic. As an example, orders created, maybe they want to change it. Are you going to allow change, as an example, before it's shipped by the end customer? What about a partial return, a full return, the credit, the credit, the CO type in JD Edwards, doing the credit to the issuing bank if it's a credit card transaction tied to the JD Edwards sales order. Here's a little bit more detail that the other slide didn't show. So when we're dealing with a credit card transaction tied to a JDE sales order or invoice for collections, we're integrated with JD Edwards, obviously both at the order crate and which is usually just an authorization on the card, and then it's shipment like Amazon. When they ship it, that's when they do the settlement. You return the card to Avis. They're just doing a hold up until that time. And then the third part is the batch AR update, and that's what we're doing, working against JD Edwards. Our applications are OVI certified, which means Oracle has fully vetted the applications we're showing you today. As a matter of fact, they've issued 2 KRISE JDE System 99 codes so that there's no object conflict. Now let's get back to the focus of the webinar, and that's apps. This is something, this is not our customer. The only reason I'm showing this is because it's becoming more relevant, and I attribute it to the younger generation, the younger buyers. So here's some German company, big news, an internet retailer, and they introduced a smartphone app, ordering products quicker. Now this isn't interesting. The app will work in conjunction with the basic storefront. So for many companies, this is an extension to the basic e-commerce portal website that they have in place. And what can an app do? Once again, note the article. Customers can sign in, scan the product codes, QR, barcodes. That's what we're going to show you in our demo. Taking full advantage of the catalog, ERP, advanced pricing, real-time availability, delivery time, all integrated with JDE Edwards. So that's just an example. Here we're talking about, our approach. Our approach is quick and simple. There's companies out there, Accenture does million-dollar projects dealing with app all the time. Here's a customer of ours, San Remo Macaroni. If you go to the Apple App Store and do a search on Belfours, this is the app that I'm going to be showing you. And so the app is a fan client. For them, they love the device integration, especially with barcode and QR scanning. They're in the food business. They have Belfours, they have Neville for coffee, they've got the pasta division, so their folks are using it extensively. And we take full control if you want. Here's an example of, with a native app, some of the things you have to consider. Publishing it. We've got this down pat. Affordable, simple. So we know all of the rules. We can brand it to we work with your marketing department to brand it to your company's name. Here's a little bit more about the app from it's a superior GUI, and we're talking about the native app. I'm going to show both of them. The browser with our responsive adaptive design, but full JDE integration. You're going to see all of this. Dynamic product catalog, that's our solar catalog. Deployment, cloud, on-prem, quick deployment. What does this mean? No app IP restrictions. You own the code. We did not develop our app with, say, Oracle Mobile Application Framework, which we could have, and other companies have done it. We did not develop it with the many open source frameworks that are out there, or just the many mobile frameworks. We decided to create our mobile app just at a pure programming level, which is Java for Android, and for iOS, iPhone, it's called Objective-C. You own that code. We give it to you. So if you wanted to extend this powerful native app that we're going to show you with JDE ordering, JDE inquiry on orders, invoice, payments, statements, back orders, and you wanted to augment it with, say, additional functionality tied to work order or warranty. We got a customer, Mercury Marine, they've extended it to warranty serial number registration. If you wanted to extend it to your branch plant locations with geocode and GPS mapping, these modern apps work like that. We can do it for you. You can do it internally. Say you have an app developer or you have your own third party. That's why we've taken this approach of saying you own the code. You can extend it any degree that you want. You're probably going to want to do it as a phase 2, phase 3, working against our REST APIs, so you can really personalize it. And you got the rest, and once again, Katie, you mentioned the question. We'll get into that. Some differences with KRISE is solar. Let me talk about that in just a second. Our native app, I know of no other company that has this. Other companies have the responsive adaptive design with the browser, but not the native app. And our platform, it's just state-of-the-art and modern. Now let's talk about this, what's called a faceted search engine or enterprise search. So there's three main faceted, and by the way, maybe I should go to this slide. When you go to Grainger, when you go to Best Buy, you see a site with similar characteristics. You see a dynamic catalog. You're not seeing a hard-coded catalog. When you type in TV, you can select product attributes, or you can filter, say, by brand, by TV size, by TV type. Grainger, same thing, drilling down to a valve. And so all the characteristic of Grainger and Best Buy and every tier 1 storefront is there's a faceted search engine behind the scene that makes the product catalog intelligent. So Oracle Commerce, Oracle bought ATG, Endeca. Endeca is a faceted search engine, very powerful, very good, and I give them kudos and compliments. It's expensive to install, but you know they have clients like Kohl's and that, which to spend $1 million is nothing. We're talking about a solution here in the very low 6 figures. So we use Solar, and if you were to type in on a window right now, Apache Solar, this is the hit that you would see. So Solar is open source. Sears uses it, Best Buy uses it, IBM WebSphere Commerce Server Edition uses it, SAP Hybris uses it, Magento. It's one of the top 10 open source projects donated by CNET 15 years ago. Netflix uses it. It doesn't have to be products. eBay uses it, Discovery, NASA, thousands and thousands of companies are using it. We've taken Solar, and I'll show you the functionality benefits of Solar, and we've integrated, and once again, this is what Solar does. Solar, we index the information. I had somebody we gave a demo last week, and they did an Excel dump of their item masters, 130,000 items. It took Solar 20 minutes to index it. We were able to do the demonstration with their items. And in an implementation, it's a SQL import routine, tying item documents from, say, a marketing server with graphics. So it's different, but with demos, we just do an Excel import. Here's Mercury Marine talking about the success. And you know what, I could show you these slides, but a picture tells 1,000 words. So I'm first going to go into our desktop version of EASYCommerce, because I think it would, and I'm going to be very, very quick here, I think it would help to put things in perspective. So I could come in here, and this is laptop or desktop. I can come in here and and you can see I'm coming in as Capital Systems, Paul Johnson, and there we go. Yeah, Paul Johnson, Capital Systems, and I want to do, I placed an order last week, a search on 3,300. Now I'm specifically showing this from the desktop because let's talk about this grid here. And by the way, everything with our pages, 100% soft-coded. We got an administration. You control what we're pulling. If you could be coming from an F55 table or even outside JD Edwards, you label it. But this is an example of a grid, and this is Paul Johnson saying, what's the status of this order from last week? And Paul can see that it's a split order. 2 items shipped, 1 item is back ordered. This is real time coming from JD Edwards, the status. And in fact, if we went into how that works, we've got a full administration here. So that status is inside of our administration, and we have what's called header level rules. We have detail rules. So how you have your sales order activity rules set up, maybe you just want to show status as open up to ship confirm, shipped until invoice receipt, and closed at that point, or you can get very, very detailed. So I switched over to our admin to show how we set things up, and even users can manage it. If a user wanted to, hyperlink to the order tracking, the UPS, that's what you're seeing there. If I go to that product catalog, and this is solar, so solar is, and once again, like many sites, do you want to show your products as a thumbnail? Do you want to show it as a list? Do you want to simply show it as a grid? But we're dealing with 23,840 items here. So this is what solar does. If I was to, as an example, drill down to this facet or product catalog, you can see I selected labels. So I'm now looking at 468. If I wanted to select another facet or product attribute, a price facet, you can see I'm drilling down to 27 there. And I could, and once again, the catalog is dynamic. I can do a remove all. The search is intelligent from indexing. So if I was to type in, you can see what's going on, yellow, Y-E-L-L. So right now, if I just did a search on yellow across the full catalog, you can see I'm getting 44 hits. So this is the way you work with Best Buy and Grainger. It's navigate to filtering and filtering on the product catalog back to navigate, and it works really slick. We've got other ways of doing it too. Kind of if you went into Amazon, they've got a department button. They have the ability to do it, and this is just all automatically. This is what solar gives you, and it's important because I'm going to be going through. But this is the desktop version here. If I was to create an order very, very quickly, so you can see what the desktop version looks like. And 2 lines were added to the order. And if I was to go to the shopping cart, and by the way, you're seeing a shopping cart, it's busy, I'm showing things like, do I want, if I had this item in multiple branches, do I want to have it there? Do I want to allow the user to enter line item comments? And once again, our administration, if I was to go here and just real quick and show you what I'm looking at, we think of it as processing options on steroids. Coming from JDE Edwards, that's the way I think of it. So everything that we're doing with setup here, and let me use a user as an example, and we have a user called Ryan. So when we set up process flows and the look and feel, let's go to one variable right now, and that variable is sales order. So what we're seeing with sales order, the variable value here, and once again, you can set this up at a user account. You saw that account is address book, a role, or a system. So the system level is here. So we're saying that at a system level, unless you do an override at a user account or role level, the calculated availability will show up as an absolute number. On hand, hard soft commits being factored. But for Ryan, we want to show it as a condition. Paul is, I'm logged in as Paul, so we're seeing it as a number. Here's the availability mode, either as a condition or a number. And notice this, allow item, branch, plant change, allow ship from change. So this is why, and we have hundreds. I mean, here's an example here, credit card, put that on a CA hold. For Ryan, we're putting all orders. The hold code is, in other words, we're saying, hey, for Ryan, the order needs to be touched by a CSR or a call center person. You can personalize users to order types. So there's a lot there. So the point that I'm making, both with the app and what I'm showing you here, is there's so much control that you have. I could show this demo literally, and I didn't even get into the UI configurator or our CMS. So it can look dramatically different, and this is really all part of the setup when we do an implementation. Let's go ahead and proceed to the checkout. So with that, I'm in the checkout, and this is a smartphone webinar, PO, 1, 2, 3. If I wanted to do a request date here, wanted to type in ship to docs 9 through 18. There are the items. I could do credit card if I wanted, or just AR terms. I'll do credit card. In fact, our philosophy with credit card is get that order in JD Edwards before doing anything with accepting the credit card, because there's about 25 different reasons for credit card failure. So this order, if I was to go to JD Edwards right now, bear with me. So this order in JD Edwards, and helps if I note the order number 4949. That's easy. So if I come here and I look at 4949 and do a find on it, you see that that order is on hold. So coming back here, and you're going to see the same functionality in a different look and feel from the browser and the app. So I could come in here and say I want to do a split payment. Oh, and by the way, I should mention this. If you're entering credit card information, from a PCI perspective, I'm going to do a view frame source here. So we're at CyberSource right here. So everything we do with what PCI calls cardholder data, processing, transmit, storage, they refer to it as, at rest, but we're doing everything at the payment gateway. All modern payment gateways have hosted payment forms. It's an iframe connection. So we take the highest level of PCI security. Wanted to make sure I showed you that. And then when we receive back from the customer, it's tokenized, it's stored and tokenized at the gateway. The token is not cardholder data. It's just the XXX representation. Let's go ahead and say authorize this payment. So the authorization was a success. And there it is right there. And if I was to go back to JD Edwards and do a find on it, the hold code is released. So it'll go on its merry way to order pick or whatever you have your sales order activity rules set up for. If I was to say go into the order header there, you notice I entered comments that shipped to docs 9 through 18. So that got integrated as delivery instructions. There was a button for line item comments or header level comments. So we can integrate against JD Edwards at any degree. But I wanted to lay the foundation by doing a quick order like I did, because at this point I'm going to switch it over to...
All right, while you're getting that set up, we have another question here asking if we integrate with Magento.
Yes, our APIs can in fact integrate with Magento. So there we go. Let's bring it up here. Is everybody seeing that? Okay, so let's first go with the browser. So I'm going to log out and let me log in as the same profile. So you notice that the browser, I've logged in, and like you saw on the desktop, it's responsive and adaptive design. There's the message center. I actually didn't show you that, but what I did show you was track orders. I went in and said, okay, Paul Johnson is interested in knowing the status of an order from last week. So I do a search on that, and so you can see how it looks different here. In fact, let's go. Let's orient it. And in fact, on the desktop, remember there was at least a dozen columns of information. And it was, once again, a split line. You're seeing the same thing. This is all coming real time from JD Edwards. But if I was to do a more there, the responsive adaptive design, we can't fit everything. And so that's why you get the more. There's that hyperlink to the tracking number. And I could close that, and I can close that down. In fact, let's orient it back, and go up here. And so this is my iPhone browser, Safari browser, and this is what's referred to as, everybody knows a browser, it's a thin client. It's not intelligent. You're going to see the intelligence, fat client intelligence with the native app. But I could still do the catalog. Now with the catalog on a browser, I can't use the device. That's what I could do on the native app. You're going to see that. But I can easily drill through here. There are the items. And I could add that item added successfully. I can add that item added successfully. I can go through to the shopping cart here. There are the 2 items in the shopping cart. You notice that I do have that portion on the top there where I could do a quick, if I wanted to do a quick find. And so once again, we're looking at the 23,000 items. So if I was to, and I showed this example, if I was to do a search on the word yellow, there's only 44 items. Let's go ahead and select that one, add that to the cart. So now I have 3 items in the cart. Once again, I'll go from portrait to landscape and come up through here and notice the options on the bottom. There's landscape, and if I want to proceed to the checkout at that point, cart is invalid. Okay, this is kind of interesting here.
Something flagged here. One of the items.
This is the last item, Doug.
Okay, this item right here.
Yeah.
And we think we know why that it's not in JDE Edwards.
No, it's okay.
No, it's still saying cart is invalid. Let me see if I can go to the credit card. Well,
Yeah, it's good.
I'm in the shopping cart right now.
No, you're in checkout now.
I'm in the checkout, excuse me. I'm in the checkout. And once again, you saw the checkout screen from the desktop. This is a PO number. So let's go ahead and type in webinar. And, whoops, that's not what I wanted to press. Thanks for laughing, Katie. Request date, if I wanted to select that. Trying to go through some of the same things. The instructions, I can type in whatever instructions. I can apply a promotion code if I wanted. Heck, let's go ahead and do that if I wanted. I have a promotion code called test, and I do an apply here. And it's processing, and you can see it's a 5%, so that's the $4.03. There's the items in the cart. I removed 2. And at this point, if I did let's just do a purchase order here. Now, you notice the Gmail. So this is my Gmail coming up, and let's look at it from this perspective. And I didn't show that, but we have the email notifications. So it's simply what's Suman, it's SMTP going to a template that's residing in their email server labeled order confirmation email.
Yes.
And it's boilerplate combined with whatever they want, and it's soft-coded from the order header and once again from the line item details in JDE Edwards, right?
Yes.
So that's the email. Let's go back to the Safari browser, and I could continue shopping. I can view the order details here, or I can simply go up to the home page menu, and we have a lot of different ways of placing orders. But because we're down to 25 minutes, bulk orders. So bulk orders is another way of creating orders. And it's a simple grid order. So let's do an item description here. 5. You see how that did a search, and that's solar. So I come up here, and I could say that I want to do that, and I could select that item right there, and put quantity in here, and come down here and say add to cart. simple grid order. So that item's in the shopping cart. A lot of different ways of placing orders. We have the bulk order, the grid order, saved carts, compare, all of that is available. We do have a YouTube video that goes over all this functionality in detail. Let's talk about the inquiries. So finding and tracking sales order like that 3300, this allows a user to simply go in there, and I'll stay with the same order, 3300, and this is find orders, and this is now coming in here, and let's do it from this perspective, where I come in here and I say I want to look at the order details. And once again, there's the same order details, and I can go in here and click on the hyperlink. And so that's the find and track orders. We even have documents here. So these are order level documents. If I was to do a packaging slip there, there's a PDF. Now we can associate a PDF. We have code that can do auto PDF generate. And let's go back to the inquiries. So I did find and track orders, message center, price and availability, very, very straightforward with that. So once again, if I was to, type in a quantity here, get price and availability, there we go. And not only that, we have the processing options so that you can see the retail, you can see the net. Do you want to add summary availability, and do you want to control it? For branch plant summary, you can create what's called a branch plant list of, say, the 3 closest. And this is another API, we've even integrated with Google Mapping so that we can do a geolocation. A lot of companies, this is important, these different DCs, branch plants that they have set up. So if you wanted us to execute that logic and say, show all branch plant availability within 100 miles of, and it'd be based on the postal code of, in this case, Paul Johnson. So let's come back up here. We have account information, account summary. So once again, this is pulled from JD Edwards directly, and the integrity with $2 million. So it's a demo environment, but this is real time from JD Edwards. If you just want to show what's my credit, what's my available balance, you can do that. Some of the other inquiries that we could show here, open invoice. So we can do an open invoice here. We can do a payment on the invoice if I wanted to do that. Proceed to payment. And then there's the invoice selected for the payment. If I was to come down here and say not enter a card, but select, and let's notice on the bottom, I'm selecting the 4111, and I'm doing an authorized payment. Authorization success. So I get the email saying, and this is invoice collections. This is allowing open AR invoices. Maybe you want to restrict it to ACH only so you don't get hit with the costly 2-3% on a credit card. A lot of people are doing this. They're getting away from invoices with a portal like this, paper invoices and mailing and check, and this is an example of that. If I was to come back to the browser there, there's the transaction ID. If I wanted to show more, I could do that. And once again, I could, the various inquiries. There's a lot more I can show. Katie is, in fact, going to show that. Let's switch over right now to a native app. So if I was to go to App Store right now, and let's do a search. And let's go with Belfour's Bakery. Search. So this is our customer. I got the ad up there. But this is our customer, Belfour's Bakery. They use it. let's go to inside of EasyCommerce. And there's our app right there. So I could, I can get our app, download it if I wanted to do it. It's already downloaded. And we would brand it like Belfour's. So if let's do a sign out. Let's begin with Paul Johnson logging in. So Paul Johnson now logs in. So here's some of the characteristics. You're not seeing my thumb or my finger here, but I'm working like this. As a matter of fact, if you were to download the Amazon app, that's why I had it up there. Very, very similar structure. And so this is, I'm right in the catalog right now. If I wanted to drill down to items and add that item into the shopping cart, I could do that. Now this is what we didn't have on the browser. So I want to do a search on the catalog. So there I'm doing a search, and I have a barcode here, and it picked it up. You saw the camera picking up 500-8877, so I could add that to the cart. In fact, let's clear this out. Let's go back and go in here again. If I wanted to do a QR code, there we go. Picked up, so same number. So same thing, if I was to add the cart, it's just going to add another quantity to that. So that's some of the differences. With going back to the home page, I can use the menu on top, or I can simply do this at any time. So I added a few items from the catalog. If I was to come in here and do a checkout process, I can, of course, change the quantities or delete. Let's go through checkout. Let's enter, and once again, if there's a different default other than ground that you wanted to choose, you can choose that. And by the way, this is APIs. So Suman's going to show you the APIs in just a few minutes, but this is a web service to your contract. And you need weights and the postal codes, which of course are the ship to from the user, and the branch plant ship from postal codes. If you wanted to get real detailed, you'd have dimensional volume information. Let's go through a PO number here. So this is Doug. And if I was to do credit card, once again, we create that order first. And I showed you that the first time. And there's that, once again, email confirmation. I'm not going to bother to show it. So at this point, if I wanted to do an add credit card, look at this option right here. So this is the ability using a PayPal app. Getting a lot of, there we go. Now, first off, this is my credit card. It's expired. That's why it didn't pick up the expiration date. But we're using a PayPal app within our app for scanning the credit card. It picked up the credit card number. I could come in here right now because it's expired, so the number is no good. And if I wanted to type in 920, if in fact you require security code, which most people do, I can do done right now. I can enter it as a payment name, and I could add it if I wanted to. So this is another example of what you can do in the app versus, I'm just going to use, say that 111, so let me enter some information there. Tap here to pay, and I see the true authorization success. So I can click on the top button, or there it is, the transaction information there, and that order was created in JDE Edwards. I can go into JDE Edwards and show it. In fact, I'll do that afterwards. But because we're running out of time, I wanted to quickly go in and, you can work with My List. So what's a My List? A My List is simply a bunch of items that you have saved, or here's your top 20 items. So I can add items from what's called an intelligent My List. Users can create it. They create a 50-line order, and they say, I want to create this list because it'll help me create. So you have My List. You have the orders. So once again, if I wanted to filter at that order number, I'm using that same order number, apply. So there is that order. And so we can see the back order and the 2 line items shipped. So here's the order inquiry that we're showing. Price and availability, that's very straightforward. Account balance, that's very straightforward. Open invoices, there we go. Now, once again, you saw how it worked with the browser. With the app, a little bit different behavior. So we have, do we want to print this or do we want to pay it? So if I wanted to do a payment on that particular invoice right there, I can now go in and proceed to pay, and there's that number, and come in here and tap here to pay, and it's authorization success. And once again, I can get and those are the emails being generated. Receipts, so this is payment receipts. And once again, I can filter, allowing the filter. You can apply filters, easily find items, unpaid orders. So what I'm going to do at this particular point is I want Suman to show behind the engine. And so with that, let me attendees.
Okay, hello everyone, this is Suman. So right now I'm going to show you how everything was working from an API perspective. So if you remember, this is the site that Doug was showing you before. This is our e-commerce site. The app that you're seeing, we're actually using the REST API, which is a part of the same platform, part of the same e-commerce platform we have. So what I do is that I have this Chrome plugin, and inside the Chrome plugin, I can go and type this REST API list here and just do a send. This is giving me a list of all the APIs, and you see in the URL here, that's the actual URL that we have been using all along. So from the same platform, you get all these REST APIs. REST APIs are basically, you are giving access to a programmer to your e-commerce site and saying that, okay, go ahead and build your own UI. And that's how we build the app. That's how we build the browser version you saw. So using these APIs, you can enable, create some other interface, create some other apps. If you have apps, you want to already build app and you want to use our e-commerce platform, you can use our REST APIs.
Like Christie's.
Christie's and Lutron, they both are this example. Lutron invested millions in their own e-commerce UI front end.
It's a quoting application.
A coding application, and they bought our e-commerce platform to use us through these REST APIs that you are looking at. When Doug was showing you the app, every transaction, like say for example JDE order, when he did an order inquiry, it uses this JDE order APIs to get the information that you saw in the app. So what I want to do, I want to show you some quick example. So here I have from the history, I'll pick this get key. So get key, I can call the get key. Get key is like logging in. When Doug used the Paul Johnson and the password, he got login. That's what I did. That gives me a key. So I'm going to use this key. And I'm going to say, show me orders for Paul Johnson. So the next one I will call after get key is, let's go to the history. And let's go to orders, JDE orders. So here is an example of JDE orders. So now I'm saying that, okay, give me all the orders from JDE 1 to 10 for customer Paul Johnson, which has an address book number associated with it. I'm going to change this key here and do a send. So now you see all these orders that you are looking at. These are the same orders that Doug was showing from the app. Or if you log in, you'll get the same orders from our e-commerce application. So that's an API interface to your e-commerce platform. So here's an order number. Let's say you want to drill down into a particular order number that you know. So you can just say 3300, sales order number, and this is your company code. So someone can send this query and get this result back from.
And sure enough, it's the one back ordered in the two shipped items.
Just to show you, I can also go this here, type this in, and there's your information. This I did directly from a browser just to show you that it's the same thing. It's the same URL, except that this is a REST API for that URL. So that was an example of getting an order back. Again, you can do JDE invoices and get the invoice information. And again, going back to the history here and showing you the list.
So our application comes with a lot of SOAP REST APIs out of the box, like you're showing there.
Get account summary. We'll give you the account summary, how much you owe, and goes on and on. There are like hundreds of APIs that you can use. It's no different if you are familiar with other platform like Oracle or Magento. They provide the same set of APIs because, like Doug said in the beginning, they also have platforms behind the scenes, just like us. We have a platform which allows us to create these APIs.
And so there is a straight analogy between what I just showed you with the native app, our EasyCommerce native app, these projects with Christie's, the REST APIs, your ability, if you wanted to extend it out into other areas of functionality. And the moral of the story is that if you're doing a search, you've got to make sure that you look at the foundation. Suman could actually go into EasyProcess and show that REST API engine, how these are created from scratch. If we have time, and if you're interested in that, we can definitely do that. We're quickly approaching, the hour time frame for the webinar. Katie, any questions?
No, it looks like we got everything taken care of already.
Okay, wonderful. And Katie's going to package up the PowerPoint. We do have this as a recording if you wanted to review it. We thank everybody for their time. We'd love to engage with you in a more detailed manner regarding your project, whether it's just exploratory right now, discuss it with you, or if in fact it's, say, a 2017 initiative. Once again, thanks for your time and have a great rest of the day. Bye now.